Okay, good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube, Iyun with Benzion. Today we're starting a new parak in Maseches Kesubos, parak Amadi, or the seventh parak, one of the more famous prakim in Maseches Kesubos. Let's get right into it. The Mishnah, the first Mishnah is Amadi Rishtam Lahanaslo, a general type of nether. He says his wife shouldn't get pleasure from him. Ashloshim Yom Yamin Parnas Yeser Mikan Yoser Yitin Ksuba. The Mishnah says there's a limit. If he declares in his nether that his wife shouldn't get benefit for 30 days, that's okay. More than 30 days in his nether, then he immediately or after 30 days, he has to give his wife a get and give her ksuva, because a woman can't live like this, that her husband took a nether that she shouldn't get hana from him. So the Gemara immediately asks, how could he take a nether to abrogate his obligation to give her hana? He's chayiv not just in the midst of sheira, ksusav, onasa. He's on the rice level, in the rabbanan. He's obligated to give her mizonos. Mizonos tachas ma'aseh yadeha. He has to fulfill every need that she needs, to be the rabbanan at least. So how can the nether be chal? Right? We see by her it's not chal. She makes a nether that he's in osa leficha. Any food that she makes or anything that she makes, he can't benefit from that. Nether does not take effect because she's meshubah to him. She's obligated based on the fact that the ksuba, that he paid money for her, 200 or 100, depending on if she's a psula or vula. So he also is obligated in ona midaraisa, and mizonos and sheira ksuzav onasa and daraisa, and mizonos derabana. We explain mizonos derabana is to give her not just her basic needs, basic human needs, to give her whatever she needs and wants. He can't do this. How can he make the neder? So the Gemara says, he says the Mishnah is talking about a case where he directly says that the husband has an ability to say this. He says normally mizonos are in place of ma'aseh yadayim. He says take your wages and feed yourself. Don't give me your wages. Feed yourself. So the Gemara says, "Haki parnes on ayin amad beis parnes lamala." Why do you need a steward? Now, this whole concept of a steward is hard to understand. A parnes, meaning it's a shliach. He's making a man in charge to give her. Now, according to the article, we're talking about food. According to Rashi, I think we're talking about food over here. Just singly food. That's the need we're talking about, food and drink. And he appoints someone to give her the food and drink. Now, why can't he just deposit money in the bank account? Why does he have to give a parnes? Be in charge of this? I don't understand really. It doesn't make so much sense. We're just talking about food over here. So he gives the money to the steward, and he says for 30 days the parnes should give her whatever she needs. So the Gemara asks, parnes lamla. Why do you need a parnes, right? If she has what she needs, the Gemara is below safka. We're talking about where she doesn't make so much money. It's not enough for her mizonos, and Chazal made a guaranteed contract for the woman that she's always going to be entitled to get her mizonos. Yes, normally he can say, take your wages and mizonos. That's only if she has enough wages, she makes enough money to support herself. If she doesn't have enough money to support herself, so then he has to give her mizonos. So the Gemara says, he's meshubah to her. So how can the nether be chal? Really, her wages are good enough for important things, the big things in life, the big needs of hers. However, the small thing, the small luxuries, it's not enough for her. So he has to provide for that. And he takes a nether, he's not going to give her those things. And the parna, he has to be minded a parnas to give her those things. So the Gemara says, what are they talking about? Either Agila Bahu, if she's accustomed to them, Haragila Bahu. He can't take that away from her. He has to give it to her. If she's not accustomed to them, parnas lama, they don't have to give it to her. Well, Sricha, the Ragila Beinasha, she had these things growing up in her father's house, become a galgal ba'adei. When they were married and they were living together, right? This case is talking about they're not living together, right? He's Madir Hana, not just physical needs, it's not just food, it's also sexual needs also. Parnis Lamula, why is Kamagaga Bahade, the Amrle Ada in the Dartan? Until now, you take the nether Galgina Bahadach. I was mochel, I was willing to forego these small luxuries. But now that I'm not with you, a woman always wants to be near her husband. The fact that you have this parnis giving me my food, I want those small luxuries. Whereas my style is 30 days is the time when people find out about it. She's not getting these small things. Then she'll be embarrassed that she's not getting them, and she'll really feel the necessity to have them. And at that point, you have to give her the ksuba, but it's more than 30 days, and divorce her. Now, what are we talking about? Like I mentioned before, why need a parnes over here? Nowadays, with automation, you can just set up, in your bank account that the money should go into her bank account for 30 days Why do you need a person over here? Parni sounds like a person over here. Why do you need this parnis over here? And what are these? And the second question I have over here is that we learned that that Ola imo imo, right? That when they're married, she gets the best of both worlds. She gets, if he was accustomed to luxuries, then she also gets the luxuries of the marriage. And even if he wasn't, but she was accustomed growing up, then she's guaranteed the luxuries when she gets married, right? Oli she can't go down; she can only go up. So even if she was Regila, if in Rebbein Asha, she got the small luxuries in her father's house. How could she forgo it over here? How could she forgo it over here? Right? Assume you could say that the mechila works and affects his din of oldim and redim. The problem is that it seems to be Raisa. The Gemara says, "Bal yasser shabal yasser shabal pulas bal." The Gemara says in Daf Samach Aleph in 61. It says it seems to Raisa. Heim kol chai, a different drasha. That's right. L'chaim nitna. She's given to you for life, not for death. So she's entitled to these things. Presumably mechila does not work. So what's going on over here? So I'd like to suggest over here a nupsha in the Gemara. Lahanos lo is a general statement. She can't get pleasure from him. It includes not just food. It includes any sexual things that she needs also. That's right? Onasa is the basic sexual needs, just to be together, the physical act of cohabitation together, without foreplay, without the orgasm. Lahanos lo, he's taking away those things, right? So Dvarim Gedolim, let's say, the big thing, I guess that would be, let's say, foreplay and the actual intercourse, where he penetrates the woman and ejaculates in the woman. That's the big things. Dvarim Tanim, I would say, maybe is an orgasm, even though it's very important to a woman, maybe not as important as other things. So the reason that parnis over here, it's a person. Why do you need a person? The only thing that a person can do that machines can't do, robots can't do, is basically, artificial intelligence can't do is have sex. You want to have sex with a human being. No one wants to have sex with a robot. So therefore, even this sounds kind of strange to most people nowadays, but if the husband's not around and he says, I don't want to be with you, so he could be maimed a parnes, another man, to take care of her sexual needs. No, so the Gemara says, she claims like this. She says, when we were together, I was with you, I married you, my husband, I was together with you, and we were sleeping together, so therefore I was willing to forgo on the small things over there, on the orgasm. Let's say she's willing to forgo on the orgasm. And that falls away. We're saying, meaning because she was with him, right? So she loves her husband. She married the guy as a husband. So it's not that she's willing to forego those small things. She doesn't need those small things, right? She doesn't need them, right? If they're needs that she grew up accustomed to, that's because she wasn't married. She didn't have sexual encounters, but now she's her husband, so he gets whatever she needs. Maybe she doesn't need the orgasm. I don't know. I'd like to make a survey of 1 in 10 how much a woman needs an orgasm. I would say probably 7 or 8, but she's willing to, because she loves her husband so much. He's a real man. She loves him. However, Parnes is a different man. He's just like, escort, a private escort. So she needs these things. She wants that orgasm. She wants that extra thing. So that's what the Gemara is saying over here, that she needs these things, which she's with him, right? Bali Yaso Shalbal, when she's with him, she doesn't need them. She doesn't need them anymore. As she doesn't need them. When she's with somebody else, a different man, then she needs these things. And of course, it's after 30 days, then it becomes known to the public, and then it's really embarrassing for her, and she feels even more that she needs them. That's why 30 days. That's the conclusion of today's share. That's what I have to say about this Parnes, ambiguous Parnes over here. He's an escort, if you didn't know that. Hope you enjoyed today's share. See you in the next one.